Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just before I do this, I think there was an agreement that colleagues who have raised questions and have been waiting for a long time for answers from the CS should be given priority when the CS finally appears. So I want to urge my colleagues, please, let us get these answers for our people. You have opportunity to also put those questions to the CS and wait as long as some of us have waited from April to get these answers for our people. So these disruptions by the Senator for Nandi are totally unwelcome, Honorable Speaker. I want to go straight to the question. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide details on the circumstances under which the parcel of land in South Sea, Ward Langata constituency registered as LR number 209/10210 and on which the College of Insurance stands was encroached upon by a private developer who has already excavated and constructed a perimeter fence around that portion of land? B, what steps has the ministry taken to address the situation and to safeguard the rights of the Insurance, Training and Education Trust, who are the legitimate owners of the parcel of land? C, could the Cabinet Secretary explain how the ministry intends to generally address the growing menace of fraudulent acquisition and encroachment of public land by private individuals and developers, especially in the city county of Nairobi? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary.
The question on insurance College of Insurance, asked by Honorable Senator for Nairobi. Honorable Speaker, this is grant number LR 209/10210 or IR number 66157, which contained an acreage of 2 hectares, more particularly delineated in survey plan number 193902. The grant comprised a leasehold term of 99 years, commencing 1st of March 1982, with an annual rent of 138,000. The grant was first registered on 20th of June 1995 in the name of Insurance, Training and Education Trust. The same parcel was also allocated to one Rajab Ahmed Karume. The grant indicates that the parcel contains an acreage of 2 hectares in the name of Rajab Karume as well, and more particularly delineated on survey plan number 278905. The grant comprised a leasehold term of 99 years from 1st of October 1998, with an annual rent of 80,000. As revised, the grant was registered on 6th of July 2011. The ownership of this parcel has been a subject matter of court proceedings and Environment and Land Court, ELC Court, at Milimani, case number 816/2012, declared Rajab Ahmed Karume as the sole and lawful registered proprietor of the parcel. The ELC ordered for cancellation of the initial grant registered in the name of Insurance, Training and Education Trust. The Court of Appeal in Civil Appeal number E505, consolidated with case number E519 of 2020, upheld the position taken by ELC in the High Court, and we put an extra and a bundle of documents, including the decree and an order of the Court of Appeal. And those are the annexures there, 1 to 4, that is the judgment for 14th of June 2024 in the Court of Appeal, decree dated 22nd August 2024. In other words, then, therefore, the correspondence file for Rajab Ahmed Karume is in our custody, and we are yet to trace the correspondence file for Insurance, Training and Education Trust. That, of course, speaks to something, but that file, I've tried to look for it, it's not there. Honorable Speaker, in response to part B of the question, the courts and the Court of Appeal have pronounced themselves on this matter and declared ownership of this land in favor of Rajab. The ministry is therefore unable to take further action on the matter. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, my officers have been continuously under threat of being committed to civil jail for sometimes taking time to interrogate some of these records, and especially where a court ruling and judgment has been given. So to that extent, then we are following the court order, and unless advised otherwise. In response to part C of the question, the ministry is undertaking digitization of land records to make them less susceptible or vulnerable to manipulation, thereby guaranteeing their integrity. Once we finish that process of automation, we will be in a better place to deal with questions of integrity and security of documents. We have also fast-tracked titling of institutional titles or public spaces, institutions, and also private institutions. We have continuously cooperated with investigative agencies, EACC, the DCI, and sometimes even NIS, when issues of public property arise and the request for documentation is normally given with easy access. To this end, we have officers from the DCI domiciled in the ministry headquarters, and that has also assisted in terms of making the place a free corruption zone. However, I, as the minister in charge, I would still want to say it is work in progress. So far, Cabinet has approved about close to 35 billion for a first phase of additional funding to do automation, and that has been approved as a process of funding with World Bank support. And I believe we should be possibly managing to go throughout. Of course, the work of automation is not a one-day exercise. It is a program that is running throughout the country, and so far, I believe we have done well. Nairobi is at maybe 98%. We've moved to other counties, and with this new funding, we should be able to make better progress. I don't know whether I have lost course. I think I have exhausted Honorable Sifuna's question, but he needs also to still assist me with the Tom Boyer, because there is a court case coming up, and I believe the response by my ministry in response and defense of our position, which has been challenged since my appearance to the Senate, has been well spelled out and written by way of defense and reply in the court. And I believe the case is being handled properly by the Attorney General. But the people of that area should know that that remains public property.
Senator Sifuna, your supplementary question?
Yes, Madam CS, I want to assure you that you have the full support of the people of Nairobi as you fight to recover all these properties that belong to the public that have been illegally acquired. Speaker, my question was going to be to the CS what sort of defense they put up in this particular matter. Because if I remember my land law at the University of Nairobi, the first allocation that is given has some level of superiority over subsequent allocations. So I'm wondering if you have clearly delineated here that this particular parcel, the grant was first registered on 20th June 1995 in the name of the Insurance Training and Education Trust. Then you come here and we see a registration in favor of this private individual in July of 2011. This has upended my entire understanding of land law. I thought a first registration is superior. So I wanted to understand, the Honorable CS, what sort of defense do you actually put up in courts in support of your own records? And how can something like this happen? Because I thought that the courts, once they get from you that the first initial registration, unless they say the first registration is irregular, Honorable Speaker, how can it be trumped by a registration that comes over 20 years later? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Sifuna, your question is very wide. You're asking the CS what sort of defense they put up in this case on a matter which has already been pronounced by the courts.
Honorable Speaker, you heard her saying that even in the case involving Tomboya, the ministry is putting up strong defense because their records are what the courts rely on. So my only concern is how was it possible? How was it possible? So she can just give us a brief on the sort of defense they put up, unless, Honorable Speaker, you think that it's not an important question.
No, it's an important question, but I don't know if the CS will be in a capacity to know the defense that was put in place. CS.
Yes, sorry. I'm following, Honorable Speaker, the concerns of the Honorable Senator for Nairobi. And I would want to invite the Honorable Senator to read the judgments from the High Court and also the Court of Appeal. Indeed, we put quite, I believe, the Office of the Attorney General, because definitely the defense and our lawyer is the Attorney General. And looking at what we did, the Commissioner of Land's evidence was actually disregarded and dismissed by the court. And therefore, maybe you could read the judgment. If you think there is anything else we can do, we can engage. But there is now a judgment of the Court of Appeal, and it is not possible for me to move further. It is true that the first registration, I wouldn't call it first registration as such, but there was an initial grant, the first grant by order of dates, and then this other grant. I am yet to understand the reasoning fully, but the position is the court has pronounced itself, and you don't want the minister to be committed to contempt.
Any other questions, Senator Sifuna? Senator Joe Nyutu, you have a supplementary question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very concerned about this double allocation of land that was initially allocated to, I believe, what is currently Kenya College of Insurance, which was later allocated to a private, I want to say a private developer. And of course, I've listened to the CS explaining the measures in her last paragraph that they are taking, including digitization. But my question to the CS, Mr. Speaker, is, do they have at the ministry any administrative measures that they are taking? And Mr. Speaker, I mean, like even before the DCI and whoever is coming to investigate does their job, that the concerned officer, because of course they are concerned officers, for example, administratively are made to resign or to step aside, Mr. Speaker, and whether then in that regard the ministry is investing in doing what we can call a moral change in the officer serving under the ministry, because these court processes, Mr. Speaker, can be lengthy, time-consuming, expensive, and sometimes very draining, even emotionally, to those that are making these particular, are making these legal, are seeking legal redress. And so, as a ministry, even before we talk about the law enforcement agencies, do they have any administrative decisions, any moral change programs, and that kind of thing, Mr. Speaker? Thank you.
Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of double registration, among other malpractices in land management, is real, not just in Nairobi, but all over the country. and I've seen the CS said that they are undertaking digitalization of land records. Mr. Speaker, you know that this matter of digitalization of the records at the land ministry has been talked about for a long time. I think it started during Kibaki regime, then during Uhuru regime, and now during this regime. Do we have timelines and the status of implementation of this digitalization? Because we keep talking about it, but we are not seeing tangible progress. So I would like the CS to tell this House what is the status of digitalization of the Ministry of Lands, and particularly land records, and how long is it going to take, what percentage has been implemented, so that this House can have some concrete information when this exercise is likely to end.
Thank you, Senator Osotsi. I don't know if you were here when the CS said for Nairobi County, it's almost 90% completed. Are you asking now for the timelines for the whole country?
Mr. Speaker, I started by saying the issue of land malpractice is not just Nairobi alone.
This question was touching on Nairobi.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking you, are you asking for the whole country? What is the timeline?
Yes, I'm asking for the whole country.
CS?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In response to Senator Osotsi, let me say that maybe by way of repeating myself, that it is true the program of digitization has taken long, but the ministry, having realized that the speed and the funding that we are getting is not sufficient to deliver more timely completion of this program, we did engage the government. And the cabinet, I said, has approved new funding through World Bank and Treasury to enable us move faster. Once I get this funding, I'll be able to respond in terms of how much time that will take. But looking at other jurisdictions, it is a program that to go to the rest of the country where we already have titles. Remember, we are talking about where we have already done titling. The rest, a lot of our land is not yet titled, but looking at the program of where we are in terms of titling and ensuring that the records that are ready in our registries are secure. I have seen other jurisdictions, they take between 5 and 7 years to holistically work on that. So with funding that is coming, and I say it is coming because it has been approved by Treasury and the Cabinet, and therefore I should be in a better position to give a work plan, in the long term. Thank you.
CS, there was the question by
Nyutu,
Senator Joe Nyutu.
I think Senator Joe Nyutu is asking me to give a moral card or a stick in terms of how are we resourcing maybe my staff, my personnel, to the right course in terms of working without all these issues. I don't think it is a problem of the officers alone. It is a problem of the country, because it takes two to tango. I think that Kenyans must stop corruption and agree to work properly. And I'm not excusing the ministry, but corruption challenges is a national, it's a national disaster. And it is not possible for people outside there to just point a finger, because these records belong to the Kenyans. They are the ones also who approach my officers. My officers should, of course, not, because these are officers that are working and earning through the taxpayer. But I'm saying, let us as a country embrace and appreciate that we must stop these practices. I think the ministry's position is that once we secure the records properly even ownership in terms of the owner, the holders of these records will be able to get information real time so that they can know somebody is trying to access their records. And that is the beauty of digitization, the ADISASA system, under the National Land Information Management System. We are not in a good place. We need to sort out that mess. Nairobi is at 98. We are in Murang'a. We are working on that, Senator. Maybe you should give me a clap for that. And then we are in Isiolo. We are in Mombasa. We are going to Machakos. We have targeted in the next 1 year, we will be in at least about 20 or so counties. But I believe the funding is already available. We'll move faster, and I may have an opportunity to come back here to give Parliament at least a better answer in terms of where we are and how we are going to complete the remaining work.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. Let us proceed to the next question. Question 118 by Senator Joe Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a question on the status of ownership of Kimorori grounds in Keno, Maragua constituency in Murang'a County, Mr. Speaker. And question number A is, could the Cabinet Secretary provide the details of the parcel of land commonly referred to as Kimorori grounds in Keno, Maragua constituency, including the title number, a date of registration, and the registered proprietor, and if the land is registered in the name of either the national or county government, state under what a legal instrument or gazette notice it is so held. Number B, Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary also clarify whether the said land is free of any encumbrances, mortgages, caveats, or pending litigation? And finally, Mr. Speaker, what measures has the Minister...
The Member of Parliament for Maragua has, I think, maybe stepped down her push, and I think also the youth have now also maybe used better ways of engaging, and it is possible that Honorable Senator can tell them in due course. But I will pick up the issue and see whether the national government can carve out sufficient land for a playground, which then means it will have to be transferred to the Ministry of Sports. It's not county land. I think the other question is you wanted to know whether it is national or county land. This is national government land. Thank you.
Senator Sifuna, you have a supplementary question?
Yes, Waziri, on this very critical point of public participation that has been raised by the Senator Nyutu, you are aware, Governor, CS, of an ongoing housing program at Makongeni, and the residents of Makongeni have asked me to ask you, when will you sit down with them to be able to take them through that public participation for that project? They are facing eviction as we speak. There have been protests there. They say nobody in the ministry is listening to them. Is it not possible, Waziri, for you to honor those people by just having a sit down with them to iron out the things that have not been clarified so that the project can proceed? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of public participation, I still want to go back to the Dagoret sub-county. Is the CS planning to do public participation with those people whose land is being acquired compulsorily for affordable housing? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Osotsi.
No, Mr. Speaker, mine is just a point of order on Standing Order 105. 105. Very important.
You didn't press the intervention button. I thought you were asking a supplementary question.
I did.
Point of order against who?
The CS has made an allegation.
CS is not on the floor at the moment.
No, but this is a house of record, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Just to get things clear. Yeah, the CS has made an allegation that
Osotsi, are you seeking clarification from the CS? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, clarification on the fact that Senator Nyutu, who is the person asking the question in this case, his friends are the ones who've been making allegations that the CS is involved in this grabbing. For the purpose of our records, as a House of Records, I think it will be important, Mr. Speaker, for the CS to give clarification and name those friends of Senator Nyutu who have been claiming that the CS is involved in the grabbing. I think that will be important for our records, Mr. Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary, let's take one more supplementary, then you can answer all of them. Senator Onyonka, you have a supplementary? Oh, sorry. Cabinet Secretary, you can proceed. And on the matter of the clarification, yes, if you don't feel like naming the names, you could always just withdraw the friends of Senator Nyutu.
Honorable Speaker, I said that I am one of those people who has been accused. And allegations, it is true, were made that we were having a project there for housing. Let me say that we have no housing project in this particular land because it's actually very limited for purposes of a district headquarters. So we are not doing affordable housing there. They know, people of Murang'a, including my senator, they know that we are doing that in Mackenzie. Number two, there was an allegation that the land is being grabbed. I have made a clarification that there is no land that is being grabbed by any person. Let's just say by any person. And it is secure because I have also restricted that land to allow time for some of the resurvey that is going on. Finally, I think Senator Maanzo is, maybe I could finish with the issue of allegations of Joe Nyuto's friends. Joe Nyuto is actually my friend, and you heard him say that I'm his mentor. At least it's good to confess. We've come a long way, notwithstanding his different political trajectory that he's taking. We are now maybe looking at different directions, but let me not mention any more names because I don't want to be in trouble on the floor of this House, and withdraw that particular comment. Finally, on the part of Honorable Senator Maanzo, Honorable Maanzo is worried about public participation in Dagoretti South, where we have projects. Let me first also say, there is no project that we do without public participation. It is possible that it could be argued, was it sufficient or not sufficient, but we do thorough public participation, starting with the persons being affected by the project. That is the PAPs. Those are our first priorities. Of course, the neighbors also are entitled to public participation, and therefore I want to confirm if Senator Maanzo, there is an indication that we have not done sufficient public participation, we will go further and do more public participation. I'm also, Honorable Speaker, being invited by the Senator for Nairobi to honor the people of Makongeni. I believe here, this is one of the places we have done a lot of public participation. But it appears that there is still need, because I know it's a huge project, and there are many people being affected. There is still need to engage them further. We will do that, Honorable Senator. Maybe we can do that in January, or if my department, the State Department, is able to do in December, we can do that, but we could slot it for January.
Yes, Senator Sifuna.
Speaker, I really appreciate that offer from the CS. Maybe she could be kind enough now to direct her ministry that the threatened evictions be put on hold until we have that conversation, because CS, you'll agree with me, it will be pointless to discuss the matter in January when all these people have already been kicked out. Kindly.
Is the eviction an order from the court or from the ministry?
No, because the current residents needed to give way for the project. They had already been given those notices to leave.
I think projects are ongoing along that place, and therefore I may not be able to withdraw or to ask my department to withdraw. It is important that I take consultation. I believe that we have, previously we have extended the notice. In fact, I think they have been on notice the whole of this year, but we will engage them as soon as possible so that we can see how we can intervene. Maybe what we can do is to expedite the public participation.